You wrote an article that
God.
is terrifying.
Terrifying.
A terrifying article. The Gospel of the Gun. How evangelical extremists and special forces hijacked humanitarianism in Gaza. And we should put humanitarianism in quotes because this has nothing to do with humanitarianism at all.
Let me first say that people are very upset by this article.
Why are they upset by it? I mean, it's just
it's the whole. What are you trying to redirect the blame? Somebody said, "What are you redirecting blame from the Jews to the Christians?" No, they're working right hand in hand. Like, what do you like? I don't make this about religion, like in that way, where it's like a team sport. What I'm trying to convey is that the religion is what's propelling people to act this way, in a sense.
Well, you have Christian Zionists who believe that Jesus is going to come back and murder the majority of the world when the Jews are able to build their church or whatever.
Yep, they got to build their temple.
Mike Huckabee is one of those people.
Correct.
Hegseth, if I'm not mistaken, is one of those people.
Yes.
So these people exist. It's not like this is not like, oh, you're just picking on. No, there are some insane murderers, goofballs in our administration that are out there. I will tell you this. One of the things that came up in UFO circles when the Pentagon was looking into this stuff and they were doing some of the research, you had elements of the Pentagon that were very religious and said that these are demons, not physical things, and that you are trying to open the gates of hell by doing this research. No bullshit. So when we're talking about like these religious people who are in government, they exist and they are making policy.
Yep.
Please explain, give a summary of your article because I want to dig into some of this.
Well, that was the point, was that because I forget about that a lot. I believe in God. I'm Christian, but I'm not incredibly religious. And I grew up Roman. I was raised Roman Catholic, so there was really not a lot of militancy in Roman Catholicism or that sort of we're at war with a good versus. There's not a lot of that. That's a very Protestant and especially American evangelical theme. And I think that's something that I know that I forget about in this genocide and what Israel's trying to do. I forget about the religious part because it's so we're kind of told to avoid it, right? It's kind of like taboo. It's not because they're Jews. It's not because of that. So you kind of put it in the back of your mind. Plus, I'm not really that well educated on religious theology in those sectors. So I decided to really explore it because I had found an article that briefly talked about these guys and their weird religious themed like military training camps. And I was like, what is this culture? And Pete Hegseth is actually one of this sort of culture, this sort of Christian dude bro culture. And then they had that same exact verbiage that you used, the sort of demons. And once you get into the abstract of that and you're like, okay, we're so far gone, that this is something that you can't really converse or rationalize with someone who says people that are Islamic or Muslims are actually possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
So we have to kill them. You can reason with that. Like that's your religious belief. Your religious belief is your core. Like that's your being for a lot of people. So that's what really like struck me. It was first, I was noticing. I've been reporting on these guys since January when they were first sort of they popped up. UGS and GHF, they popped up in Gaza, and I've been exploring them because anybody who's prior special forces just puts me off. And I was seeing videos of them seriously holding hearts like this while Gazans are like clamoring over each other, and then they're shooting at them. And, they're screaming at them in Iraqi Arabic. And I think it was that video that set me off where they're screaming at them in Iraqi Arabic and like, why don't you understand me? And I'm like, where were these guys serving? And then I started pulling the thread and I was like, oh my God, they've been to Afghanistan guarding poppy fields. They've been to Colombia doing drug ops. They've been to Ukraine doing extractions. What are these guys really up to? And then I started pulling it and I was like, there's no oversight here. They're just podcasters with LLCs running around grabbing government contracts. It's terrifying. And they're all religious extremists, all of them.
We gave them space. I mean, like, it's like, hey, you're a thick neck guy with a gun with no conscience. Sure. We need people like that, right? That's the way the government looks at it. Because it's difficult to get a moral person, ethical, who don't want to kill people, to do stuff like that. Like the Green Beret guy who came back And he was like breaking down, telling the story about this little kid that these people murdered.
Mhm.
Okay, it's hard to get that
You
guy
can't get that guy.
for a long period of time to do horrible things.
Mm-mm.
That guy has a conscience, even if he's in the military, right? I think the thing that's terrifying about it is they are true believers.
Mm-hmm.
They think, we are on a religious crusade of
Mm-hmm.
sorts. And so when we go to these places, we are fulfilling God's will as we murder and
Right.
kill demons.
I mean,
And it's like, whoa, dude.
there's stories of them praying, and I didn't put it in the article because I couldn't verify the exact story, but there's anecdotes of them praying over the biometric scanners and asking God to reveal the demons among them.
That's terrifying. Like, that's terrifying. But you think to yourself, okay, who's going to take these missions to do stuff like that? And
Exactly that. But see, the
Yeah.
thing is that, you back up to the beginning of GHF and UGS Solutions, and this was all planned, not to put these exact people in there, but it was planned to privatize the aid. And
Right.
and thanks to Philip Riley is an ex-CIA agent who's been working with the Israelis since 2022 to actually develop these plans for this sort of aid system. Now, the aid system itself was designed to, we talked about it, bring the Gazans from the north down to the south and concentrate them in these areas and potentially kill them like fish in a barrel. That's literally what's happening, is just killing them while they're at the aid stations. Well, what kind of people do you need to distribute this aid? Well, you had the UN, who was strictly humanitarian, who was there for altruistic reasons. Well, you don't want that. And you don't really care about these people. Plus, there's a part of me, maybe it's the black pill or the cynicism, that thinks that the murders are a feature. They're not a bug. They're not a mistake. I mean, they report them every day, like it's like their new thing. At the end of every day, 78 people were killed today in Gaza, 52 of which were waiting for aid. And it's just like, it's like a news piece. It's just so, and how, you have to have these people that either have no conscience, or even better, if they think what they're doing is right, because then they won't stop. Apathy is not going to cut it in this situation. These holy warriors are, they actually jumped at this chance, not just for the contract. The money's great, but to fight in the Holy Land. We're going to go fight in the Holy Land. Yeah, that's what they think.
Help build God's temple effectively.
Right. And they come from this interesting community of this save the children type crap. And what I've found while exploring, and yes, they have done some good things, and I won't take that away from them. They're sort of the type of people that do this weird vigilante operations where they just pose as women and children online and then like video people. I don't even know. It's like very bizarre, like a deputization of themselves. And then they go over there and they're helping to disappear kids.
It's the Chris Hansons. Like, my ex-wife used to get pissed off at me because I used to watch stuff like that. She's like, why do you watch stuff like this?
I can't. That shit creeps me out. Ugh.
It's weird. Like, it's, you would get these, I don't want to call them weirdos, but these guys who would pose as children. And at the point where the pedophile hits them up, they would show up and either beat the hell out the pedophile, or they would hold something over their heads saying, hey man, I'm going to tell your wife, I'm going to tell your grandma, I'm going to tell all these people. It's a weird thing to watch just because it's very bizarre. Put your mind on Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen just had more charisma when he used to do it.
Right. And like these guys, like one of the guys that I wrote about him, he got so involved and so out of control that he actually is now being investigated himself because he ruined investigations. And then instead of saying, I shouldn't really be doing this, he said, actually, the state law enforcement is involved in child trafficking too. They're involved in the cover up. And it's just like,
wow.
So yes, these people are insane. These people are grifters. These people are Bible thumpers with the very different Bible than most of us are used to. And I went through last night to watch their pastors. Mm-hmm. And these people are talking about why we stand next to Israel. And it's just,
well, you were even talking about in the article how many of these people were backing Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, like Hitlerian in their point of view and their framing, mm-hmm. like where they could just kind of strike in defense of Hitler. Yep. And these are the people who are effectively mm-hmm. out there at GHF and some of these other organizations that the U.S. are hiring to murder Palestinians and call it what it is. I mean, they're creating a death camp.
They are.
The notion, if you're pulling people into a small area, meaning you're already in an open air ghetto, And you're saying we need to make the ghetto smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, well, at a certain point, you're going to have a camp. And you have fish in a barrel where you're able to shoot these people. And it's like, hey, come here for food, and we are going to murder X number of you every day that you come for food.
Mhm.
Then what is that? I mean, you have a
It's an
death
extermination
operation.
camp. Yep.
Yeah, it's an extermination camp. I mean,
And
by
these are people
definition,
with Hitlerian sort of Hitler was kind of right, or Hitler was right, or go look at what Hitler did for the economy. This
yeah,
sort of thing. I mean, they also, some of them don't like Jews either. It's not really violent anti-Semitism, but it's sort of like, we only need you to we're only using you to get to the end. You're only a means to an end.
yes, that's the interesting part.
That's
Because
where
many of these
they
people
get.
are racist. Yeah, it's
But
super
the
interesting, right?
Jews and the evangelicals will say, well, we can work together and we'll see what happens in the end. We'll see who's right in the end. That's basically
Yeah.
what they're doing. It's like, we both don't mind using the most disgusting, violent means to get to wherever it is that both of us are going. We're both going to the same spot. Technically, we just don't know what will happen once we get there. Will Jesus kill the Jews? Is Jesus going to not come? Is the
Right.
Messiah? Right. So they're like, we're cool with both working together to get to this cataclysmic time. And then we'll let the chips kind of fall where they may when that
Jesus
happens. And the
returns.
Christians are like, you're all going to die. And the Jews are like,
Yeah.
no, it's you guys. But they're fine with working together until.
Isn't that wild? Isn't it like that is so wild to me? Where it's like, yeah, Jews killed the Jesus, so we don't like Jews. However, we need you in order to build the temple,
Right.
so Jesus can return,
And they're
and then he's going
placeholder.
to send you all to hell. How bizarre is that?
And then think about how that kind of collides or kind of collaborates with the idea that the United States, just politically, we need Israel. So now you have this religious fervent coming in saying, we also need Israel as a placeholder to hold it there for the temple when Messiah is coming back. And then you have the government people saying, we also need Israel as a placeholder to make sure the Arabs don't get a stronghold in that region. So you have these two sort of perfect storms colliding of ideology and political stance, and it just has created a literal extermination camp in Gaza. I mean, they're talking about annexing Gaza without even, a blink, and there's really nothing to be said about it. They know it's going to happen. Yesterday, the article came out, and this is the reiteration of the position of the Gulf Arabs anyway, but they made sure they reiterated Gulf Arabs want Hamas to lay down their arms. What happens if Hamas lays down their arms?
They get exterminated. That's what's happening now. And by the way, they don't make a distinction between Hamas.
No, that's what Hamas means, Gazans.
Yes. Yeah, that article is terrifying, that these people exist and that they have found a pipeline for sadism, for all intents and purposes, backed by and paid for by the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that article. I think I saw it from The Cradle. I don't know if I saw it from DD.
Wow, really?
Both of you do great work.
I love the
Both of you do great work.
I love Charmaine. Charmaine is just, I love her. I love her. One of the writers over there. Charmaine and Pepe are there. They're both fantastic. Oh my God.
Yeah, you guys both do great work. I mean, I was watching the videos that you guys put out for Kiev getting hit. And it's like, God, man, that stuff is terrifying. Like you hear like the screaming of the weapon before it hits.
Oh yeah.
And you think 27 of those screaming through the night as you're trying to get some food.
Iskanders are very loud and very scary. They are big.
Sarah, thank you for this.
Thank you.
I always appreciate you joining me. Great article. I'll put the article. The article, by the way, is below this video. And I'll put it also in the cut part of it. It was doing well by itself. I saw that you said you put a lot of work into it.
Oh, I did. And it took a lot out of me. And I actually had to work with somebody else. And, but once I got started, I was like, this needs to be written. So it's free. Yeah. I kept it free because I thought it was way more important than putting it behind a paywall.
You were fantastic. Sarah Bils, DD Geopolitics.
Thank you.
Check her out. Great article. Again, it's going to be at the bottom of the video. Check out DD Geopolitics, either on the Substack or, for that matter, I see him on Twitter. That's usually where I see most of your articles. You have a fantastic day, okay?
You too. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I will see you. Yes, I will see you in 2 weeks. She's not going to be here next week. She's not angry at me. She's not pissed off at me.
I will be in Iraq.
Where?
Dying in the heat.
You're going to be in Iraq? What can I ask? What are you doing in Iraq?
I'm going to a conference with the Prime Minister.
Are you?
Hmm.
Interesting.
That's right, haters. No, I'm just kidding.
Super interesting. All right.
I'll let you know everything. You know that.
You have fun. I know Lath went, oh, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Well, he's built for this. I'm not built for this. It's
He invited me.
140
And
degrees.
I kicked myself that I turned him down on that. Because he was inviting me to Iran. He invited me to Iran to effectively cover what was taking place.
Yeah, he was there with Max and them, I think.
Yeah, but he was like,
in the same period. They weren't together, but it was around the same time. Yeah.
Well, I think the thing that threw me, he was like, yeah, we're going to go through Iraq, and then we're going to go through Iran. And I'm like,
he drove?
I don't know, but that was part of the issue, right? It's like,
he drove and you didn't go?
How does that work?
He drove and you didn't go? I am like mad at you myself for this. What are you doing?
I kicked myself for it. I mean, look, it was a few things. For one, I would have been leaving for Malaysia. 2, the time length wasn't going to work. It was running into time difficulties. 3, the details were very sketchy on how that was going to work. How were you going to get the passport? How were you going to get the visa? How you were going to get across the border? It was a few things. I kicked myself for not going. I kicked myself to this very day. Sarah, you have a fantastic time in Iraq.
I will text you
a lot of sunscreen
and information. Yes. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye. Be safe. All right. We have come to the end. Sarah is fantastic. Yeah, Sarah's fantastic. I have nothing else to say.